Hello, my name is Jillian Ferguson. I grew up in Trinidad. I was born and raised here. I went to Cedar Grove Elementary School, primary school in Palm East. I also attended Naparima Girls High School in San Fernando. After that, I went to America to further my studies, and I settled in Miami. In 1999, I came across a sport called professional wrestling. I shared a balcony with a little girl. She came outside with a magazine and wanted to show me her favorite wrestler. While she was flipping through the pages, I saw a familiar face. Asked her to go back. I said, "Oh my God, that's Dwayne." Her response was, "Oh, you like The Rock?" I said, "The who?" "I don't know what you call him, but his mama named him Dwayne." Only to find out that he was the people's champion, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, otherwise known as number 94 for the Miami Hurricanes, the school I used to attend. When I looked at his picture, I just had a couple simple questions. Is he on TV? Yes. Dressed like that? Yes. What time does that show come on? And that was the end of that. I started watching professional wrestling on television. After a few years, I started going to shows in things they call blast areas at sports bars where you could watch the WWE pay-per-views, and I started meeting other people and things like that, meeting other fans of wrestling, and meeting what they call indie wrestlers, which are kids, teenagers, young adults who love the sport of wrestling and practice it in different clubs, let's say. Getting to know these people was very fun, very informative, and by extension kind of accidentally got me into professional wrestling when I was talked into getting into the ring by one of the trainers in South Florida. He was impressed with the fact that as large as I was, I could do a split. I had to inform him I can do a split, but I'm not going to do it now because I'm not a performing monkey. So he said to me, "Come back here next week, I'm going to teach you to wrestle." I said, but that looked like it hurt. Whatever, it'll be good exercise. So I went back the next weekend and I proceeded to learn the basics of wrestling. For myself, to learn how to do what I see them doing on television. And I thought it was great fun and good exercise until the owners of the particular club came in one weekend and said, "She know how to work? We need to put her in a match." I said, "Wait a minute now. I was just here for exercise." And then I had 3 days to come up with a wrestling name. Very short notice. Couldn't really think of much, so I ended up calling myself Calypso. And my entrance music was David Rudder's Calypso music, which I found out several years later that people thought that that song was specifically made for me because they kept hearing the word Calypso all the time during the song. And I was like, okay, you know what? Go with God, whatever. Now I'm back here in Trinidad. I came home because my parents were getting older. My daddy wanted me home, and I was always a daddy's girl, so that's what I did. My dream was, still is, to start real professional wrestling here in Trinidad again. It's not easy, but I'm willing to put in the work. You'd have to get a place. You'd have to get a proper ring. And no, to answer the question that's going to come, can't you use a boxing ring? You cannot. A wrestling ring and a boxing ring are two completely different things. And it hurts a lot more if you use a boxing ring. So a wrestling ring is built specifically for wrestling, the schematics and things like that. I've been to iron fabricators in Trinidad. I don't think they'll be able to do it. the best thing to do would be to ship one down from the States, which would come up to the tune of about 70 grand. You could make a makeshift one here to suffice in the meantime, at least to get people practicing and so on and so forth. I know a few people who are into wrestling here that try to do it, but I want it to be done on a much grander scale. I was fortunate enough to come into contact with a Mr. Thunderbolt Williams, as you all know him, who was a celebrated wrestler here because that's pretty much who everybody talks about. Thunderbolt Williams, Abdullah the Butcher, who is not a Trinidadian, by the way, Carlos Colon, Victor Jovica, and Ray Apollon, who sadly has left us. But Thunderbolt Williams is still alive. He is in Trinidad, and he is more than willing to help me in any way that he can. So if there's anybody out there who is a wrestling fan that wants to help us, monetarily of course, and hey, if you want to get in the ring and be a manager, I'll knock you around if you want. I have to train you how to take a bump first, but I mean, I know a lot of people in these states who are more than willing to come down here to wrestle. We just need the financing for it. And knowing what a big deal wrestling is here, because WWE is on television here in Trinidad. It used to be on TV6. Now it's on Flow 1 or something. I don't know. When I got these statistics from TV6 back in 2015, over 110,000 Trinidadians watch wrestling on a weekly basis. So there's a lot of room for marketing prospects regarding wrestling. So my numbers will be made available. I have a WhatsApp number of 305-648-6083 and a local number of 310-4627. Again, my name is Jillian Ferguson, also known as the wrestler Calypso. If you are interested in helping us, or helping me I should say, get wrestling, professional wrestling off the ground, feel free to contact me. There will be a couple of videos attached. I can show you one right now. This is just a promo video of the work that I have done in the past while I was in Florida and other places wrestling.
That's yours, Julie.
That's me. I have always been a great admirer of David Rudder, and just about every Trinidadian I've ever met in all over the United States, Canada, England, any Trini worth their salt has a copy of David Rudder's Gilded Collection, whether it be CD, now in digital, record. I'm a little older, so I had the CD. Everybody has that. Everybody listens to it all the time. I am no exception. And so if I name myself Calypso, I might as well use one of my favorite songs by one of my favorite artists. Yeah, that's what I did. I did it for fun. I did it for passion. It's quite painful. Please do not try this at home. They are not joking when they say that on the television. If you don't know what you're doing, you can get hurt. I am a trained wrestler. I have broken my big toe. I have dislocated my collarbone and a couple other things. So, yeah, it can be quite painful if you know what you're doing, far less if you don't know what you're doing. So please don't do it at home. You could seriously damage or injure or kill yourselves because it has happened. It's not for the faint of heart. Let's just put it like that.
Okay, ma'am. It's nice chatting with you. Opening up so many avenues for the ladies who are looking in particular.
Hey, if I could get a chance to start a women's wrestling league, all the better.
So give them your number again.
My WhatsApp number is 305-648-6083. My local number is 310-4627. My name is Jillian, Jillian Ferguson.
You're based in South?
I'm based in South. I live in St. Joseph Village in San Fernando. And I'm sweating profusely because Trinidad is hot. You live on the surface of the sun, and y'all need to start using solar energy in this country. That's just my little PSA. I'm just saying.
Well, it's like you're doing a game. Sweat.
And pretty much, yeah.
Okay, Jill. So if you had to say something to those young girls who just hang it out, what would you say to them?
Younger people, if you like what you see on TV, you want to stay off the streets, you want to find something interesting and different to do, we'll get somebody to sponsor us and we'll get a club together and start throwing professional wrestling shows in Trinidad. So anybody out there with the big bucks, I ain't gonna take all, just a little bit, to help give kids something better to do than crime in Trinidad.
Okay, Jill. Nice chatting with you.
Thank you.
See you around.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.